It's come to my attention that there are those of you who think Spencer Pratt is a viable candidate for the mayor of Los Angeles. My only question to you is, have you not learned your lesson with Agent Orange in office that is actually ruining our country?
Can we talk about the LA mayor's race? I'm absolutely not voting for Spencer Pratt.
Hi guys, welcome back again to another video. Thank you for always coming back to watch my videos. If this is your first time here, my name is Julie. You are welcome to Julie Harrison React. Please do not make it your last by subscribing so I come across video and ended to share. Lots of Americans are reacting to Spencer Pratt running for mayor of LA, and it's the fact that a lot of Maga supporters are solidly behind him. These guys are going out of their way to support Spencer Pratt for mayor of Los Angeles, even when they know they can't vote. So what they have in mind to do is to travel just to make sure that they're able to cast their votes. Always, I was able to put together videos how people were seen reacting, and I can't wait to share. Kindly watch these videos and please leave me your thoughts in the comments. Before then, disclaimer: this content does not in any way promote conflict. This is for educational purposes and, of course, creating awareness on the recent trends happening on social medias. Please watch these videos.
It's come to my attention that there are those of you who think Spencer Pratt is a viable candidate for the mayor of Los Angeles. My only question to you is, have you not learned your lesson with Agent Orange in office that is actually ruining our country when you guys thought the same thing? Spencer Pratt is running for mayor. Yes, the same Spencer Pratt who's from the hills. The same Spencer Pratt who's a flat earther who denies that the Sandy Hook shooting happened, that blew through $10 million of his salary, spent over $1 million on crystals because he thought the Mayan apocalypse was happening, and is also a grifter and filed for bankruptcy twice. This is the man that you guys think should be mayor of the biggest city in America that resides in the fourth largest economy in the world. And you think this man is supposed to be able to balance the budget and manage the inner workings of a city in a state like California? Spencer Pratt is a grifter, much like y'all's president. So it's no shock that Maga is actually rallying behind him.
So I have a question. Are we all heading to California to vote for Spencer Pratt or what? Because you know California doesn't care if you're legal or not.
So is everyone in Ohio going to road trip to California to vote for Spencer Pratt, or?
I will be flying to Los Angeles to illegally vote for Spencer Pratt. What they gonna do? ID me?
I'm sorry if I said that you were dumb. Maybe I meant you're stupid. I don't know.
There have been video after video of people from poor states saying that they're going to drive or fly to California and vote for Spencer Pratt since California doesn't have voting ID laws, proving just how fucking dumb MAGA and the right are in this country. There is this shift of people online who don't live in Los Angeles to kind of prop Spencer Pratt up because he represents everything that they are. Mediocre, white, looks like they smell like mayonnaise, looks like they haven't showered in a couple of days. And it's the same tactics they use with Zohran Mamdani in New York. No one that lived in New York City actually talking down about Zohran. Well, it's the opposite here. And I just say to you guys, come to Los Angeles, please come vote and commit voter fraud and see what happens to you when your address and your signature doesn't match. His own sister has come out and said that if you vote for him, you're voting for stupidity. He's the one that got her hooked on hard drugs that she had to go to rehab, and he hospitalized her when she was 18. But this is the same thing that the president would do. So not shocking that this is what you guys want to vote for. And when you say we wanted to vote for change, yeah, change like Zohran Mamdani to do good for the city, not change to vote another grifter in office who can't even balance his own house budget. This man said he spends $5,000 to $10,000 a month on food.
So tell me how much money you guys are spending on food in a month.
Like 5,000 to 7,000.
Yeah, I eat a lot.
Sometimes 10.
And then he compared himself to Barack Obama.
Look at Obama. He was a community organizer. I've won 2 community advocate awards for mine. Nobody thought, why can Obama become a senator? And then the president, he had no experience running the whole entire country, which is way bigger than LA. So.
The same Barack Obama that was a U.S. senator, that first black president of the Harvard Law Review and was a constitutional lawyer. You are a failed grifting reality TV star who didn't even insure his house that got burned down in the fire. And to top it off, this is the man that complained about, oh, Pacific Palisades burned down my house afire. It was a very real issue in LA. It's a very real issue, but you didn't insure your house, and then you're blaming the city for what you lost. Then you show yourself living in a sprint in an Airstream that's $100,000, and your whole thing is, I'm not rich, I'm not rich. You're living in Santa Barbara in your parents' rental home ever since the fire happened and your house got burned down. He keeps boasting about his political science degree and how it would come in handy. It took him 11 years to get a 4-year degree. In that time, I got not only my BA in political science, I got a BS in international affairs, I got my MBA in international business, I interned at the UN in Geneva, worked at NATO, worked on a presidential campaign, and became an investment banker in 7 years. But somehow, you guys think he's qualified. The only reason you guys are going behind him is because a black woman's in office, Karen Bass. Now, she doesn't come without her faults, right? Anybody, no one is above critique, but this is happening due to anti-blackness, and you don't want a black woman to stay in office. He talks about the fires so much, and that's really his only claim to fame, but all of his campaign ads use AI, which only adds to the water scarcity issue of an already scarce state. Spencer Pratt has never had a job. He has no plan for homelessness. He has no plan for affordability, the affordability crisis and housing. He has no plan to reduce government oversight and government overspending. He's just saying a lot of catchphrases, and he's throwing out political fodder to people to pick up the crumbs, and it's working. You want change, right? I get it. But voting for a failed reality TV star grifter who has the IQ of a patch of grass and is an abuser who got his sister hooked on crack, failed his household. He failed with $10 million in his house. He failed by buying crystals, and he now turned that crystal company into his latest grift, PrattDaddy.com, PrattDaddyCrystalsOrStones.com, whatever the fuck it is. You guys have to be smarter. And to all the people from Texas, from Kentucky, from Iowa, focus on being poor. You're poor in your rural state. You have nothing else to do but to worry about what's happening in Los Angeles and New York City because you have nothing going on at home. Why are you supporting someone who doesn't even know how to support his own household? Don't you guys care about the nuclear family unit? He went bankrupt. He spent $10 million. That's more money than your town probably has in the last 5 years. If you guys want to be dumb, if you guys want to continue to wear your idiocy and wear how stupid you are on your sleeve by saying, I'm gonna fly to California and vote. You don't even have enough money for gas. You definitely don't have enough money for a plane ticket. every day in this country, I'm seeing how literacy and comprehension coupled with racism is and will be the downfall of America. Bye.
With Spencer Pratt running for mayor and Donald Trump being president, we are officially in the era of American history that's just a bunch of reality TV villains running for office. So we all need to prepare right now for Taylor Frankie Paul 2036.
If you think for 1 second I'm going to let somebody who had thin blonde ponytails in high school convince me to vote for a reality star after y'all done already got this country in a shit bag, we haven't forgot what you did to Lauren. Don't piss me off.
So I want to make it very clear to the media. We do not care anything about what y'all are saying about Spencer Pratt. What we, the people, care about is that Karen Bass has opposition and that these corrupt Democratic politicians are getting kicked out of California. If Spencer Pratt is the one to do it, then we're going to get behind Spencer Pratt. We don't care about how much money he has. We don't care if he's staying in a hotel. We don't care if he has a big house somewhere. None of that has been our concern at all. All we care is that he's going to fight for the people and fight against Karen Bass. If that's not what you're talking about, then we don't care what you're talking about. You're not going to convince us to go against him in favor of these corrupt politicians when they have done nothing for us and they have proved that they do not care about California. I hope y'all remember, whether he's living in a nice house or a trailer or a hotel, the only reason you guys are debating where he's living is because his house burned down. And it's because of them. So miss us with the, oh, you can't trust Spencer Pratt and he's a TV reality star. We don't care. Karen Bass is going down. These Democratic politicians are going down. And we are going to vote for who we want to vote for. Y'all have no say in that. No control over that. We are taking California back. God bless.
This is why y'all should not be voting for reality TV stars for mayor of LA. Spencer Pratt apparently is out in these internet streets talking to Joe Rogan about crime in LA. And according to Spencer, LAPD has informed him that if you get arrested for home invasion robbery, you get 2 weeks in jail. I have been a lawyer in criminal law for 23 years, nearly a quarter of a century in this county, all in Los Angeles. I have handled and have been assigned several home invasion robbery cases. No one's ever gotten 2 weeks. No one has ever gotten 2 weeks. Okay? Because if Spencer had done a little bit of homework as a candidate for mayor of LA, he would have learned that under Penal Code Section 212, which is robbery of a residence, you can get up to 9 years. 9 for one count. And if under Spencer's scenario, you're armed with a gun, that's 10 years for the gun, 9 years for the robbery. 19 years, sir, is not 2 weeks. Okay? And I've never had someone offer such a menial amount of time for a home invasion robbery. And guess what? That's if one person's in the house. If they rob me, for example, they steal my jewelry, my husband's watch, my daughter's iPad, my son's Beats headphones, my other daughter's, whatever TV. That's 5 counts of home invasion robbery, bro. Are you serious right now? They get time for every single person in the house. And God forbid you come in there like with your gun smoking and shooting. You get 20 if you shoot a gun, 20 plus the 9 plus the other counts. I don't know why LAPD would tell you that shit, but the truth of the matter is you should be asking them what is the percentage of solve rate for home invasion robberies? How many of y'all solving though? Because from what I'm told, from what I learned with my 4 years in the DA's office, is that it's very low, under 20%. And I'm being generous when I say 20. You hear me? I'm being generous. I'm assuming it went up in the last couple years because those boys be in and out your house in 5 to 6 minutes. And the LAPD haven't even turned their car on to come to your house to arrest somebody. Literally, they're not being solved. That's the problem. You want to go on a crusade, Spencer, about crime in LA? Do something on the homicide solve rate being 50% or less and the damn home invasion solve rate. Go on a crusade about that, bro. Because that is where the problem lies. They can't prosecute him if you can't catch him. And I'm not a stand for Nate Hockman. I don't like him at all. However, he's not giving out 2 weeks for home invasion robbery. Neither was George Gascon. Neither was Jackie Lacey. Neither was Cooley. And I was a defense lawyer under all of them. And literally, that's just not true. Be better.
I will be flying to Los Angeles to illegally vote for Spencer Pratt. What they gonna do? ID me?
No, they're not going to ID you when you try to vote for Spencer Pratt for mayor of Los Angeles, though you don't live in Los Angeles, but they will arrest you and charge you with impersonating a lawful voter and then sentence you to up to 3 years in prison, plus the fact that you published this video that promotes that, which is a separate crime. And I'm not the one saying it. This statute does. Because you see, your sassy video only shows that you spoke before learning and didn't realize that when you vote in California, they ask you for a first and last name, an exact address, and a signature. Now, you have 2 options. You can give your real name and address, and they'll tell you to go £send because they have a roster that will show them that you're not eligible to vote, or you can give somebody else's address who's actually eligible to vote in that county, and that is called impersonating a voter. Also, if you do that, and assuming you know the exact address, you're also gambling that the person you're impersonating is not going to come to vote or hasn't already voted, because if they did, you'd go to jail if they catch you, but no matter what, your vote is not going to count. This idea that no ID means rampant fraud, it's a myth. That's why California has basically non-existent fraud. In fact, a study shows that California counted a total of 56 fraud cases between 2000 and 2012 out of almost 200 million ballots cast. You, my friend, fell for the oldest trick in the book. Those that are telling you that not asking for an ID when voting causes fraud. But what you don't know is that those people count on people like you who can't even take 5 minutes to go check whether that's true or not and run to their phone to record a video that aspires to be a gotcha and proves only one thing. The crowd of the uneducated is very easily manipulated. I just thought you'd want to know.
Spencer Pratt blocked me on TikTok, which is absolutely insane because all that I have been doing is offering pretty fair and measured critiques of the campaign that he is running to be the mayor of the city that I fucking live in. If you can't handle me talking a little bit about your campaign, you're not gonna last 10 fucking minutes as the mayor. I know it feels really great right now. You're going to fancy backyard fundraisers and who knows who's putting you up at the Hotel Bel Air. That's not really the job. The job is to be the mayor for all Angelinos. And so I have a lot of concerns right now because I also hear I'm not the only one that you're blocking. I've talked to other people who have had very measured critiques of you and you block them as well. I get that that's how it works when you're a reality star, that you can just block people and be like, whatever. That's not how it works when you're the mayor, public office. Do you even know what the job is? You know what concerns me? It really does, because we've seen Trump do this. If he's like having all these problems with people where he's blocking all these content creators, what is he going to do when he's in a position of power in Los Angeles?
Okay, now everyone is talking about the Spencer Pratt mayoral race, but nobody seems to be talking about the bigger picture here. I have talked about Pratt before, and honestly, it is fascinating watching someone with no political experience, who most of us know best as the villain from the hills, polling second in a race that on paper he has no business being competitive in. Yet, here we are. And whether he wins or loses in June, the reason he's even on the board is the actual story. Pratt is running as an independent in a nonpartisan race focused on fixing the city he grew up in, the same city whose failures of leadership burned his home to the ground. That hasn't stopped his opponents, though, from calling him a Maga extremist on the debate stage, because it's easier to slap a label on him than to defend their own record. And that's exactly the part that nobody's talking about. People are being gaslit into believing that the most basic standards of city governance are somehow now extreme, that asking for clean streets is MAGA, that wanting children's parks to be safe is right-wing, that saying mentally ill people belong in treatment instead of dying on sidewalks is cruel. I lived that gaslighting from the inside. I used to vote for the people running these cities. I voted for them because I wanted better for the disenfranchised, the addicted, the mentally ill, the unhoused. I thought I was choosing compassion. But this isn't compassion. Letting a human being rot on the sidewalk in the name of empathy is not empathy. Allowing an entire neighborhood to deteriorate around them is not progress. Eventually, I had to admit that what I was being sold as kindness was actually making everything worse for everyone involved. So I left the party I grew up in because I watched it start rejecting things that used to be uncontroversial across the board. Homeless encampments don't belong in a residential street. Public drug use is not a civil right. People who break the law should face consequences. Please look at LA. I used to walk to client meetings all over that city 15 years ago. Same streets I would not step foot on today. Do not tell me crime is down 3% from catastrophic when I'm watching a man defecate on the sidewalk in front of a preschool. Don't tell me homelessness is trending in the right direction while encampment dogs are dying of heat stroke tied to shopping carts. Down from the worst moment in modern history is not some victory. It is a city barely starting to dig itself out of a hole it spent a decade and $24 billion digging. And this isn't just LA. From Seattle to San Francisco, Portland to New York, people are waking up to the same thing I did. Pratt is not the cause. He is the symptom. A symptom of millions of people who finally noticed that being told that your values are extreme doesn't suddenly make your common sense values extreme. Left, right, or center, people are tired of being told to ignore what they see with their own eyes and trust people who have already shown them exactly who they are. We're seeing through it. And Spencer Pratt is just the proof.
So this guy, he doesn't understand why people like me want to vote for Spencer Pratt.
But let's talk about some of the reasons he is a terrible, terrible candidate. First off, he is a liar. He had a campaign video saying, "This is where I live," in front of his trailer. Turns out he actually has been living in a $1,000+ a night hotel when he's not staying at Daddy's house in Santa Barbara, not actually living out of the trailer. So just a straight up liar. And when asked about it, when confronted, he said, "Well, I never actually said I live in the trailer."
That guy goes on for 2+ minutes about how Spencer Pratt is lying because he doesn't live in the trailer, which he actually does live in that trailer as well. He has a political science degree, and that just is going to cut it for that guy. And because he's made bad financial decisions in his life. And you guys on the left in LA, you're tone deaf, dude. You would rather have zombies all in the parks that families can't even use. Spencer's talking about real shit that people in Los Angeles actually go through. And the whole reason he got started was the Palisades fire. So you're criticizing him for being dishonest, for not living in a place because his house got burned down in a fire that could have been prevented because the current mayor that you guys want to vote for again was on a vacation when the Palisades fire happened, and Trump predicted that there was going to be a fire and to get water in those reservoirs, and they never did, and it could have been prevented. And it just doesn't click with you. He's the only one talking about making Los Angeles safer, fixing the parks, the open drug use, the getting rid of the homeless encampments. The homeless encampments right outside of public schools. That Karen Bass and whoever the other chick is, they don't even want to do anything about it. They don't do anything. Why? Because the homeless people, it's a mental illness, and they're a marginalized group. Karen Bass totally defunded the cops, the fire department. There was no water, lack of resources, lack of manpower. I just saw a fire chief talking about how they've had the same amount of manpower since the 60s. That's why when you call 911, it takes 10 times as long for somebody to even come and help you out. And it's just not clicking. And don't even get me started on the retail theft. We legalized that shit here. Quality of life is a train wreck. But you don't care because you think Spencer's MAGA. And then you got Nithya Raymond. She doesn't care, like I said, if there's homeless encampments near schools. Literally, she has told parents that at town hall meetings. Her and Karen Bass prioritize these weird activist ideologies over like normal people in Los Angeles, concerns for their safety in their own communities. We want safe sidewalks around schools. We don't want any more compassion for like every damn buddy without any accountability. It's okay to want clean parks in neighborhoods. People in LA have been ignored for far too long.
That is exactly why people find it very difficult to believe these people. So to be very honest, I've seen a couple videos where so many MAGA supporters were seen having emotional meltdown, crashing out on the media, how frustrated they get when they realize that who they voted for is not truly who they deserve to vote for, if that makes sense. And it hurt them so bad for some of them that are already three-time voter, Trump voters and all that. They were making videos complaining that this administration has never favored them. They talked about a lot of stamp benefit that was taken off and how a lot of inflation has been crippling the economy, the fact that they could barely feed. They talked about how they wouldn't have voted him if they know that he was going to lead America to war. And this was exactly the same thing Kamala Harris wanted. Now we have Spencer Pratt, and a lot of them are already saying, even when they know they can't do it, even when they know that this can actually lead to jail, I think is a penalty. You do not have right to vote where you are not originally from. But they said they're going to travel far miles to LA to make sure that they cast vote to support this guy. Who exactly are you supporting? Just like another Trump? Only for you to come out tomorrow to start crying. Why are these guys being unrepentant? Why are these guys failing to listen? Does it mean that all these videos, especially made by Black Americans, telling them, should I say that, does it mean everything that Kamala Harris has been saying, and lots of Black Americans have been putting out there, fell on deaf ears? Fell on deaf ears. Why will you vote for someone that is not competent simply because the person looks like you? What happens when you try to come out to have one mind, one interest, major interest at heart, which is making America great? I remember the last time they were campaigning. So, to be very honest, in as much as I don't know much about American politics, I'm going to be very honest. But to truth be told, truthfully, some of the mistakes Americans do, it has a way of coming down to Africa at large. Let's talk about the war between Iran, Israel, and USA. Every damn person is feeling the heat. Every damn person is feeling the heat. There's a lot of inflation of prices. A lot of inflation of prices right now in Africa. Inflation of prices is too much in Africa right now. Because the Strait of Hormuz were locked. And all these things has a way of coming down to us. So enough of all this, avoidable mistakes. Because there would be the first set of people that would come on the social media to cry. We didn't know that he was not good enough for us. We voted for Orange Man 3 times. We voted for Orange Man 6. And then what are you doing to make corrections? Now you want to travel far and wide to come and cast your vote. With everything that has, attached to him and everything. I just hope these guys will start being real and large, start being factual, start being present, start taking things the way they should take things. Start thinking deep. Start taking corrections from Americans, because you just need to start taking corrections from them. I mean, Black Americans to be precise. Listen to everything Kamala Harris, so you don't come out here and make such mistakes that you made before. Because to be very honest, this man, I don't think is good enough.